Alport Castles isn't just dramatic, it's the largest landslide in the United Kingdom. Thousands of years ago, the heavy gritstone above it just slipped on the weaker shale, breaking away in huge blocks that now stand like a ruined fortress. You can see the tower there in the middle, you might just be able to make out, which is the biggest of them. And it looks almost like a man-made castle, but is entirely natural, shaped by ice, water and time. And it's a reminder that the landscape here is still moving and it's still telling its own story. And we're starting today in Snake Woodlands, where the trees hold that morning light and the mists are just lifting up from the tops now, and it's going to be a gorgeous day. It's a gentle beginning on soft ground and there's a sense that the day hasn't quite started yet. Ahead there's a Roman road we're about to follow that's going to lead us up towards the higher ground. Before I get onto this Roman road, I'm going to go through my peaks check. Personal, how we're arriving today, well, we've got here in good time, nice and early start. The environment, well, cool air, light winds. I think it's 7 knots, something like that this morning. It's pretty good. The day's going to warm up really quickly. It's 20-degree start, and then we're looking at probably upper 20s by the end of the day. So water's going to be a factor today. That's probably the main risk for consideration. The accompaniment and solo kit is all sorted. Got extra water today I've brought with me. Knowing the conditions of the route is all in my head, majority of it anyway. There's one section that I'm going to need to take bearings on. I've chosen this route today because I know it's just following a period of really dry weather, which is going to help, because after wet weather or spring, autumn time, it gets really boggy. As we follow our line up past Alport Castles, we're going to need to take a bearing, and it's one of the areas even called the swamp on the map, so you can guess what the ground conditions are normally like. But we'll see what it's like today. Looking forward to it. Safety, we've shared where the route is, and yeah, looking forward to a good day's walk. This Roman road steadily, purposely rises a line across the landscape. It's the kind of path that settles you into a rhythm pretty early in the start of the walk, and it's nice that it starts to lose a bit of the sound of the main snake road just down to my right. So following a medieval pack horse route first to start the beginning of the day, is then developed again by Dr. John Talbot in the 15th century. There's a bit of the route later when we start on the route way back called Talbot's Gate. He was a pastor, a vicar, Dr. John Talbot, in Glossop in 1495, something like that, and it improved the summit section of the road. And the word gate comes from the Scandinavian gata, meaning road. Beautiful start to the day, lovely soft light, and the Roman road leads us straight to Alport Moor, which is our main focus of our walk today. As we walk round up to Alport Castle, then further around Alport Moor up to Higher Shelf Moor, and then we'll follow the loop round and back. It should take us about 6 hours, and it's about 21k, so it just depends on the pace that I put on today. It's a nice section, this, running parallel to the Snake Road. I thought it might be a bit noisy, but actually as soon as you're up onto the Roman road section, you don't hear that at all, and you do feel that you're proper quickly out into the open. Probably like you've driven through Snake Pass 1,000 times, but I tell you what, I don't think I've ever been down Snake Pass and seen it look as resplendent as this. It's another view, another angle on this valley that I've just not realised. It's so lovely. It's quarried section, and you see where it looks like some of the ground has slipped. We're turning the corner as we start to turn north and following the route up to Alport Castles, a bit like that quarry section we just saw before with the grass that had travelled down and slipped. Alport Castle is known as one of the areas in the UK of mass landslip. In fact, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, landslip in the country. Thousands of years ago, the heavy gritstone above it just slipped on the weaker shale, breaking away in huge blocks that now stand like a ruined fortress. You can see the tower there in the middle, you might just be able to make out, which is the biggest of them, and it looks almost like a man-made castle, but is entirely natural, shaped by ice, water and time. And it's a reminder that the landscape here is still moving and it's still telling its own story. The fence line here is a bit overgrown, so it's a bit more difficult to see where the path goes up, but when we look at the map we know that we're keeping to the right and going round the tower to the right hand side, so I'm going to follow the line up this way. For some people walking along, especially from the other side of the valley, looking up at the edge there, might be quite intimidating. What would you do in the scenario where you found that one of your group looked up and no, not for me, I can't do it, I won't do it? What would you do if you're out on a walk and you were faced with that situation? Well, I wonder if you could consider what the smart risk choices might be. You could coax and encourage. I wonder if you could set small milestones, break it into smaller pieces, maybe giving the map to that person and asking them to set a target to reach, giving them the sense of responsibility but also empowerment into making decisions so that things seem more achievable, but equally they do walk away from the day feeling that even if you turn back, they've had opportunity and choice. That they've had opportunity and choice to make the day a nice one and go home with good memories, rather than being the person that had to turn everything around or stop the day, which can put off a person for future walks. And that's the last thing you want to do. The climb onto Alport Moor brings you back into open moorland. It's broad, exposed and shaped by the weather. This is where the day feels at its wildest, with long views, steady wind and the sense of travelling across this true open moorland. This little bit marked as waterfalls on the map, and we continue to follow this line up the gully to Grains in the Water. Well, I've reached the Grains, and I tell that by the fact that now I've got like this wall of where all of the tributaries of the stream are feeding in to this boggy area, and we've just forded over this little bit of very boggy area here across the stream, and now I'm just working out if I'm heading up which gully now, and I'm just going to refer to my map and get a compass bearing on this section. So we've walked up from Alport Castles up to the true point, round this to grains in the water. Here we can see the swamp, but we want Lady Clough to walk up there. So what I can tell is that it's in a almost due westerly direction from grains. So let's look at my compass, get north, or west, straight up there. So the path is up that one, not that one. We visited this section in the last episode on Route 15 Bleaklow, so I won't repeat it, but you could take it in there and see the historic V29 crash site. The descent begins along the top of Devil's Dike along straight, which is part of the Pennine Way, and then to Lady Clough, which brings the day back into woodland and water, and it's a gentle finish after the height and exposure of the moor. Today's route's been shaped by long lines and quiet decisions. Roman road started off, and then the landslide country of the Alport Castles, and then that led us out into the open moor, and then the descent through old names and old paths. A day where the landscape guided the rhythm and the small corrections kept the journey steady. And as always, it's a smart risk choice. Have a good day.